We have a question from a spiritual seeker. I had Kundalini experience, the radiance 2 years ago, one night in my sleep, which I had not expected and maybe not prepared for. For 3 to 4 days, I felt extreme peace and divine, which I got scared of. And after that, I have been caught up with fear and anxiety at different intervals. Now I'm trying to understand this energy so that I can feel the peace and stop my restlessness. I'm unable to get connected to Source again. With Kundalini experience, when non-duality is experienced, why is it I'm still unable to feel non-duality? Your videos have helped me by clearing some of my doubts. Kindly help me with my confusion. So, I have written a book on Kundalini. It's called Bitten by the Energy Serpent. And it is written in the light of non-dual understanding. Now, in that book, I clearly say that energy, when it invokes, it has its own will. Even when the energy will invoke is determined by the energy and not by the person or the separate self. But we think that we can do practices to change the flow of energy as we desire it. So some of us may say that we want to open up the heart chakra first and then the throat chakra or the solar plexus, Manipura. But you see, all these energy points, vortices, their energy inflow and energy outflow is balanced by Kundalini according to its own will. Shakti is not our slave. Energy is not our slave. The separate self, the ego, is the resistance to energy. And total surrender is the only path that leads to peace. That means we do not concern ourselves with what energy point opens and when. Most people want the third eye to awaken because they have some fancy notions that once the third eye gets awakened, the Agya Chakra gets awakened, then they will experience bliss and unity. What they do not understand is that when the Agya Chakra opens, the Agya Chakra is the third eye of the Shiva. When it opens, it destroys everything. And what that means is that it destroys the ignorance and the root of ignorance, which is the separate self. So to even demand peace is a resistance by the separate self. In fact, the questioner here says that I'm unable to get connected to Source again. But the thing is that you are never disconnected from the Source because you are the Source. You are the one that is making all this happen. You are the energy, pure consciousness. So you are never disconnected. It's only the separative mind, the fragmented mind, which says, I haven't attained this, I haven't attained that, and I need to work. I need to do something to connect to Source or God or universe, whatever you want to call it. But the thing is, you are not separate. You already are wholeness, completeness, that is your nature. You do not need to open the third eye or the crown chakra. It's already there, it's already open, you already are it. But when we try to force certain processes, which is also actually energy's will, there is pain and suffering. So just drop the mind, like Ramana Maharshi says that you already are the self, the pure consciousness. Just drop the notion that you are this or you are that. So if you believe that you are a spiritual seeker and that you have to seek something to get somewhere, and that you have to change Kundalini or modify Kundalini in order to get an outcome that you want, you desire, then that will only delay the realization. And the questioner also says, with Kundalini experience, when non-duality is experienced, why is it I'm still unable to feel non-duality? Non-duality is not a feeling, it's a knowing, it's a recognition, which means it is not a function of time which comes as a thought process. Your own being is here and now. It is ever present. You never lose your being. Being is pure consciousness, the pure I that remains unaltered, that remains the knower of everything. So when you tap into that energy of being, that is the knower of everything, then there won't be any concern with what Kundalini does. Because even Kundalini is an experience, and experience is always in the realm of mind. To go beyond the mind, you do need the mind, but do not cling to the mind. So do not cling to experiences. Do not try to hold on to certain ideas or beliefs that it has to be this way or that way. Let energy do its work. And you can be peaceful right this instant when you give up the doership. And the doership is that I want a certain outcome because in my mind, certain state is my object of desire, which can be anything, which can be peace, enlightenment, which can be still mind. But if the desire to have a still mind is strong, that itself can disrupt peace, you see. So do not latch on to the idea of non-duality, which again is a thought. Non-dual realization is the realization that the person or the separate self does not exist or is just an object in all the other objects in the world. But there is no separate subject other than pure subjectivity, which is universe, which is God, which is consciousness or source, as you, whatever you want to call it, or Brahman or Chaitanyam or the supreme reality, but it's all one. It's all made up of pure knowing, pure consciousness, and tap into that energy. Let the Kundalini do its job, whatever it's doing. At some point, there won't be many symptoms. Yes, Kundalini is a very potent energy, and a lot of people try to push and force this energy. And I have clearly mentioned in my book, Bitten by the Energy Serpent, that any forcing will just disrupt peace and delay the self-realization. Do not make self-realization into a strong desire, and so strong that it eventually delays self-realization. You can realize truth right now. Realization of truth is peace. The realization is that you are not seeking peace, but you are the very peace that you seek. In this whole process of seeking, you are actually making movement of your mind, and in that movement you are just strengthening mental patterns. And these mental patterns are causing disruptions in life, because then we do not focus on life. We do not focus on simple things in life, and we get so attached to a particular idea that I will be happy only when I achieve this, this, this. Whereas all of this is not in our control. Life will never flow according to our wishes. And thank God that life does not flow according to our wishes, because we don't even know what we want. We are all the time just shooting arrows in the dark and hoping to hit a target that probably does not even exist. So the idea is to simply be. As Ramana Maharishi said, your job is not to be this or that. Your job is simply to be. And Ramana Maharishi also said that give up your belief in thought. Now, what thought is he talking about? He's not talking about the creative thinking that one uses to build, work. He's not talking about that. He's talking about the separative thought. The thought that creates the subject-object split. Me versus me, the experiencer, versus Kundalini or awakening or enlightenment, the object of experience. The separation between the two is suffering. So when the notion of a separate observer is dropped, what you see is that everything is a seamless whole. It is not made up of parts, but everything is a seamless whole. And the essence of everything is pure knowing. That knowing is always there, it's ever present. It is there in waking state, it is there in dream state, it is also there in deep sleep. So, non-duality, non-dual realization is not a feeling, but see the source of the feeling. See where it arises from. That is what you are. The moment you try to experience peace through effort, but effort itself is not peace. Your peace is destroyed. You see, your mind immediately becomes restless, and then it wants a certain outcome. I want this, I want that. Peace is your very nature. It is your most natural state. It is not to be attained. In fact, if you've had Kundalini Awakening, which is a blessing, which is grace, I feel, all it does is, it destroys all the mental patterns that create resistance, and it brings about a sense of detachment from the worldly objects as it rises through your spine and goes upwards. So if you see the energy vortices or chakras, they are dense. They're dense at the bottom, and as the energy rises up, they become more and more subtle. For example, Mooladhara, Swadhisthana, which is root and sacral chakra, then Manipura, which is solar plexus, then Anahata, which is heart chakra, then Vishuddhi, which is throat chakra, and then you have Agya chakra, which is the third eye, and finally Sahasrara, which is the crown. So as you go from bottom to top, it becomes subtle. But once you reach the top of, which is the Sahasrara, the crown chakra, now this is all symbolic. Okay, it is a concept. Just like non-duality is a concept, even Kundalini is a concept. As it rises beyond the body, beyond the head, the limited universal consciousness the limited small consciousness merges with the unlimited vast universal consciousness. That means the belief in the separate person, the belief in separation, that I am separate from the rest of humanity, is destroyed. That means I give freedom to myself to be the way I am, and I also give freedom to others so that they can be who they are without judging them, without labeling them, without calling them names. I do not create any kind of separation from anything or anyone in the world. I still may have preferences in life. I don't have to love everyone. But I do not create hate and resentment energy towards anyone else. Because now my energy is rising from bottom to top, and I am simply witnessing the flow of energy. I am not trying to alter the energy. The peace will be disrupted the moment I try to modify energy according to my beliefs, my ideas. If I say that I want first the third eye to awaken and then I will deal with the heart chakra or any other chakra, that will create conflict, confusion. Best is to surrender. Surrender to the impersonal energy and let it do whatever it wants to do. Energy will decide which chakra is to be hit when and how much energy is to be provided to each and every vertex. It is not up to us. In fact, I would say that be light, be sahaj, be ease, operate with easefulness, and you will find peace. The moment you start putting too much effort into trying to know something, trying to know how the energy works, your peace is disrupted. You will never be able to know how the energy works. All you can do is surrender to that energy. So I hope that answers your question.